Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, businesses rush to meet the SESRA compliance deadline. The sister of a woman killed on Abaco speaks out about her sister's last moments. Plus, the Bahamas prepares to part ways with the penny. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, as everyone made plans to bring in the new year, there was a scramble by businesses to comply with the Commercial Entities Substance Requirement Act by today's deadline. And now Progressive Liberal Party chairman is calling the deadline hard-hearted and insensitive as he calls for a grace period of 3 months. Kyle Joaquin reports.
There's no reason to just push people up against a wall. These are very tough times as it now stands, as you all know.
The Commercial Entities Substance Requirements Act was put in place to satisfy international economic watchdogs like the European Union and OECD that want to know that companies domiciled in the Bahamas are actually doing business and paying taxes in the country. What SESRA, as it's called, really tries to do is avoid companies moving to the Bahamas but not pay taxes. But the government's recent reminder that these businesses must have complied and reported by New Year's Eve has sent several businesses into a scramble. PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell now calling for a grace period of 3 months.
People are worried about so many things, and it just seems another example of the government coming off as being insensitive, hard-hearted. You know, the business of if it's 1 minute past 10, the Prime Minister saying give people a ticket. The police are out every day writing tickets.
Bahamas Chamber of Commerce chairperson Crystal Rutherford Ferguson has said so many people have been focused on COVID-19 that when the discussion came around again, it was already the end of the year. Mitchell says after a turbulent 2020, the enforcement is rashly unfair to the business community.
The difficulty now, the main difficulty I gather, and the main complaint is that because the notice of the compliance was sent out just about a week, maybe 10 days ago, people started to panic. And the agency that is responsible, I believe Inland Revenue, is deluged with applications. And so deluged with applications, they simply cannot meet the demand.
We reached out to Attorney General Carl Bethel, State Minister for Finance Kwesi Thompson, Financial Secretary Marlon Johnson, as well as Minister of Financial Services Ellsworth Johnson for comment. No calls were answered up to airtime.
If the law is enforced and is going to be enforced, then it makes sense to simply say we won't enforce it for 90 days. We just allow people to have the time to comply, given the fact that the government itself defaulted in the notice on the coming into force of these provisions.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, the sister of a mother of 7 who was found dead in Abaco with injuries to her face says she spoke with her older sister minutes before she got into an altercation with a man, and she believes that's when she began fighting for her life. She spoke with Jared Higgs.
And then my mom told me my sister was dead.
Family members tell Our News the woman who was killed in Crown Haven, Abaco on Saturday is 35-year-old Angelita Pritchard, a mother of 7 children.
I tell her stop playing. I say, why are you playing like that? And we rushed in the car. We went out there. And all I saw was a bunch of people. I saw my cousin Tamira crying. I know it's real.
According to police, Pritchard was discovered with injuries to her face. Her death came hours after she had an altercation with the man. Police say a man is in custody assisting with the investigation. Her 23-year-old sister, Kendria Starr Russell, says she and Pritchard were best friends.
I feel that my sister fought for her life. My sister is a fighter, and her baby was there, so I know she was fighting for her life, just to make sure that her baby was good. I am sure of that.
She described her sister as a loving mother to her 7 kids, 5 boys and 2 girls. Her oldest is 16, and her youngest just 4 months old. She worked as a security guard and was struggling like many Abaconians to recover from Hurricane Dorian. The grieving sister says she spoke to Pritchard just 20 minutes before the incident, and everything seemed fine with her.
Me and my sister were 2 peas in a pod.
Russell says during good times, the mother of 7 would always treat her children to gifts and goodies when she returned home from work. Her oldest kids are trying to be strong for the younger ones.
That was the reason for her living.
The 23-year-old says the family is stepping up to support the woman's children.
We are trying to be strong and we are trying our best for the kids, but she didn't have to die the way she died. It was too soon.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Meanwhile, a man died in hospital last night after he was shot during an incident on Malta Street and Guyana Court around 10 p.m. According to police, the victim ran to a nearby home after being shot. A concerned citizen drove him to the hospital in a private vehicle, but he later succumbed to his injuries. Police investigations continue. On Wednesday morning, 2 men were killed on Pitt Road. In other news, the Bahamas is parting ways with the penny. The 1-cent coin is no longer considered legal tender. Bethany McDermott has that.
Following 54 years in circulation, the Bahamian 1-cent coin is no longer considered legal tender in the Bahamas. This as the coin has been demonetized effective today. According to Currency Department Manager of the Central Bank of the Bahamas, Jermaine Campbell, this will save Bahamian taxpayers some $400,000 annually.
At one point, it was costing us exactly twice as much to produce a 1-cent coin. So each 1-cent coin that we produced was actually costing us 2 cents, which meant at the end of the day, we were losing 100% of what we would have produced.
The 1-cent piece was released in 1966 and is one of the Bahamas' first decimal coins. Campbell explained that more than 20 million 1-cent coins have been collected.
To date, we have collected an excess of around 27 million 1-cent coins. We've collected those to date. We estimated that that there would be somewhere around 215 million to be collected.
We took to the streets today, and most of the residents we spoke to say they have already turned in their 1-cent pennies, while others say they plan to do so before the deadline.
I've turned them all in. I have probably maybe about 4 or 5. That's about it.
So do you plan to just keep those, or do you plan to, I guess, redeem those at some point as well?
No, I will just keep them as a souvenir.
A few knocking around there.
So do you plan to turn them in to redeem them to get money back, or?
Not really, it ain't that much.
Is that much?
No.
So you're going to keep them as souvenirs?
I guess so. It's for toys for the children.
I do, but I have some at home in a container. Is it a lot? It's a lot. So do you plan to turn them in to redeem them to get the money back, considering that you can't use them anymore?
Yes, sir.
The Bahamian penny is a round coin with a smooth edge weighing 1.7 grams, measuring 17 millimeters in diameter and 1.2 millimeters in thickness. Campbell said when coins are brought in, persons are paid based on the estimated weight of the coins. So if you still have some pennies lying around, it's not too late. Campbell says they will be collecting them until June 2021. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
There's no Junkanoo to look forward to this year, but there are beautiful clear skies outside our Robinson Road studios tonight. Here's Greg Thompson in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Christina. Our first look at weather brought to you tonight by Guru Center. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson. Current conditions outside our studios, very warm temperatures into the mid-70s, 75 is our current temperature, but the breeze is still kicking up there, so it's making it feel a little comfortable. The winds out of the southeast at 14 knots feels like temperature 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Satellite view around the area, mostly sunny skies across most of the islands, but we did have some patchy clouds moving across the Upper Coast. We have some of that moving into the central Bahamas, but that high pressure will remain in charge for the next several days. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on Our News, Watch Night service being held across the country tonight. Plus, Bahamians getting ready to say good riddance to 2020. Stay with us.
This year has been hard on all of us. Many have lost friends and loved ones to COVID-19, which has changed the world and the way we live. From the first case to the second wave, Our News has been there with you, and we will continue to stand with you this holiday season,
sharing in your stories of tragedy and triumph. Christmas may look and feel very different this year, but its meaning of love and hope remains the same. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year.
Churches are gearing up to ring in the new year with singing, dancing, and a reflection on the past year. They spoke with our Jillian Gray about their excitement for the night.
From an increase in those needing assistance to fighting to hold services, churches across the country have had their fair share of troubling times this year. Nonetheless, they say Watch Night 2020 will be a time of celebration.
We're going to make the best of what the situation has presented us. And I think that's the message that we need to give to every Bahamian.
Bishop Denzel Roll said they've moved to the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gym to ensure there is enough space for physical distancing. Over at Life Changers Ministries International, the theme for the night is Cleared for Takeoff, and their pastor, Valentino Williams, said they have several ways people can enjoy the service safely.
With the fact that we only allowed 33% in our facility, that takes away a whole lot of indoor seating, so we've decided to erect a huge screen on the outside to accommodate those individuals. And of course, we have social distancing protocols out there and a special area of seating for those individuals who want to just sit in their vehicles and watch the service.
St. George's will be celebrating the holy name of Jesus both tonight and Friday morning. Reverend Father Scott Brennan said it'll be a time for people to reflect on their life, especially those who have been depressed all year.
I think that we're going to return to some sense of normalcy, but at the same time to be very prudent and very wise, very optimistic, especially with persons who are very depressed. And that's a big thing, even too, in our area that we're in, for persons who may contemplate suicide, persons who are just upset and fed up of wearing masks on their face. And so we just have to make the adjustment and help persons the best way possible.
While many say 2020 has been a tumultuous year, these pastors say it's not been all bad. They say some of their members would have paid off mortgages or opened up new businesses, adding that many would have gotten back to basics because of the hard times during this year.
You go to the neighbor house and you get your bread from here, you get your meat from here, you get your rice from there, and you go, and before you know it, you get a whole meal. That has come back.
Many people in this ministry experienced the best year of their lives. As a matter of fact, I just got a message this morning where one of our members told me that this is the most money she's ever had in her bank account this year. And so I am pleased to say that in the midst of it all, the word prosperity, it shielded us.
It's the hope of these pastors that 2021 will be a brighter year for the Bahamas.
I'm excited. I am pumped about what's about to happen, and I believe that we're about to step into the greatest season of our lives. So I'm in tiptoe anticipation.
It gives us opportunity to really showcase collaboration, working together as a people, understanding the seriousness of our health, and doing those things that are necessary for the church to continue under new conditions.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Well, for the first time in recent memory, there will be no New Year's Eve parties going straight into midnight. However, the 10 p.m. curfew won't stop the show. Kyle Joaquin visits a few spots today where preparations are underway.
Come on out and let's get bottomless bubbly.
At a new hotspot, the Bahamian Bistro, it's champagne, champagne, and more champagne, as we say good riddance to the trying year that was 2020. With live entertainment by DJ Super Mario and an outdoor vibe where you can even feel the sand in your toes, co-owner Q-Tel Nemore says while restrictions will force the party to stop at 9 p.m., they will resume on New Year's morning.
Today we are saying goodbye to 2020, hello 2021 with $21 bottomless bubbly. And then on Friday and Saturday we're having $21 bottomless mimosas from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We wanted it to be affordable but fun and a safe environment.
Over at Tiki Bikini Hut by Junkanoo Beach, we met tourists chilling on the beach and their crew hard at work getting ready for their New Year's celebration.
Well, what we have planned, we have the regular, we're going to give out champagnes, we're going to give out some party flavors, we're going to do it up until 9:30. We know the deadline is that the curfew time is 10 o'clock, so we know we're going to have a lot of tourists out there because for the last few days, a lot of that same question has been asked, what you going to do for bringing in the new year?
Super Club's Breeze is also bringing in the new year with a bang. After a tumultuous 2020, sales manager Hattie Smith said it's time to let off some steam.
We will have tables socially distanced. We're offering a beautiful menu. It's $250 per couple, so for two persons, they can come, check into the hotel, come out here and have a lovely New Year's Eve dinner, music, drinks included, and also after dinner they can go by the pool and beach and they'll be dancing under the stars.
We are having an entertaining dinner.
Normally, New Year's Eve at the upscale Balmoral Club includes dancing and a lot of energy. However, this year, the club's president, Dwayne Mortimer, says they've had to tone things down a bit. But he promises a beautiful experience on the Southern Terrace with a 4-course meal and open bar.
What we are doing is we have private cabanas for families to sit together, separate and apart, socially distanced from other persons who would be attending the event. In addition to that, we have restricted the number of persons that we will entertain. Our outdoor space, whilst it's vast, we've restricted it to 60 so we can keep those protocols in place.
Now, all of these events will end just in time for everyone to get home by 10 p.m. Unless, of course, you're going to church. Signing off for the last time for 2020 for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
There's more news on the way, but first, your RF Market Watch.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Still to come, a look at the top financial crimes of 2020, and a Bahamian basketball coach is ready to take on 2021. We have the details when Our News returns.
This year has been hard on all of us. Many have lost friends and loved ones to COVID-19, which has changed the world and the way we live. From the first case to the second wave, Our News has been there with you, and we will continue to stand with you this holiday season,
sharing in your stories of tragedy and triumph. Christmas may look and feel very different this year, but its meaning of love and hope remains the same. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year.
This is Our News. Welcome back. The pandemic placed more Bahamians in tough financial situations, making them prime targets for scammers, according to the head of the Financial Crimes Investigations Branch, who says the unit has investigated more complex scams this year. Jasmine Brown reports.
We had a number of matters where these Ponzi scams, they were all around. And you know, where you get people to join up with you and all of that. That was very active.
Director of the Financial Crimes Investigations Branch, Chief Superintendent Matthew Edgecombe, shed light on the most common scams reported to the unit over the past 12 months. With the unemployment rate still hovering around 40%, Edgecombe says more people are out of work and desperately in need of funds and are therefore more prone to being defrauded.
We have to really try to understand that there's no free lunch.
But it's not just Ponzi schemes that were popular this year.
You also have something called the mystery shopper, where you might get an email or the people advertise that they need a mystery shopper, and they would tell you that they need your banking information from you, and you would give them banking information, but they only using it as a way to either get into your account or somebody else's account. They take monies off. We have something that's been going on for years. Samsung, where you get a message in your, some people don't have a Samsung, but they get a message and they win so much money from the Samsung company. And the persons now are getting very good at it. They will show pictures with cash and different places, and people believe it. And I have some sad stories, but some people came in and they lost thousands of dollars by sending monies off.
Last month, FCIB also reported an uptick in what officers are calling romance scams, where unsuspecting victims are being fleeced out of thousands of dollars. The rise in cases prompted police to send out an alert in mid-November.
It's happening out there. You can be careful. It's a matter of the heart, and I can't tell you how to control your heart, but I can tell you to be aware of certain people. This world is a wicked place. And things happen, people prey on you.
Now, while the branch has only been in existence for a few short years, Superintendent Edgecombe says they will continue to do all they can to keep white-collar crimes down across the country. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. In sports tonight, a Bahamian basketball coach has a formidable team heading into the new year. Marcellus Hall has that.
Thanks a lot, Christina. And by the way, Happy New Year to you, because tomorrow is, of course, New Year's Day. We get you rolling with some sporting news coming out of the college basketball scene, where so far so good for the Lady Rebels of Ole Miss under the direction of their head coach, Yolette McGeown. You know the name. They've been doing extremely well. With a 6-0 start to the season so far, the Ole Miss Lady Rebels basketball team, under the direction of Bahamian head coach Jolette McPhee-McEwen, are off to a promising start. However, things have not been completely without issues. The Lady Rebs had their last game, which would have been against Jacksonville State, canceled due to COVID-19 tracing. Their next game, instead, will be played against the LSU Lady Tigers. That'll be played on Monday at 4 p.m., at which time they hope to remain undefeated there. Lady Rebels also, by the way, featuring the services of another Bahamian in Valerie Nesbitt, who plays backup center. And so, as we said, we bid 2020 farewell. Adieu, get the heck out of here. And looking forward to 2021. We say Happy New Year to you all and looking forward to seeing you in the new year. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. Still to come, 13 individuals and organizations on Grand Bahama recognized for their selfless acts. Stay with us.
This year has been hard on all of us. Many have lost friends and loved ones to COVID-19, which has changed the world and the way we live. From the first case to the second wave, Our News has been there with you, and we will continue to stand with you this holiday season,
sharing in your stories of tragedy and triumph. Christmas may look and feel very different this year, but its meaning of love and hope remains the same. From our family to yours, Merry Christmas and a safe and prosperous New Year.
Welcome back to Our News. We're ready to welcome 2021. Here's Greg back in the weather studio with a look ahead.
Thanks again, Christina. As we close out 2020, we take a second look at our weather around the area. Satellite view, high pressure remains in charge, generating the hazardous boating and beaching conditions across the area. We're asking you beachgoers to stay out of the water, and boaters, we have an advisory posted for you. Another system across the southeast United States, that's the system we're going to anticipate getting in here sometime late Sunday into Monday. Your boating forecast for all areas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the east to southeast, 15 to 25 knots. So we had an advisory posted for you boaters out there. Very rough seas, 4 to 6 feet near shore, but up to 10 feet offshore. Here's a look now at your national forecast. Here's a look now at your extended forecast through Tuesday. That's a look at our weather as we close out 2020. Wishing everybody a happy, prosperous, and a safe 2021. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Well, the Governor General's Volunteer Bahamas program officially launching on Grand Bahama during a recent ceremony honoring 13 individuals and organizations. Governor General C.A. Smith says he's encouraged by their selfless acts.
Over a year ago now, that a talented group of Bahamians representing a cross-section of our society, inclusive of public servants, NGOs, all accepted my invitation to bring my long-held dream to fruition.
The honorees were presented with awards by the Governor General and Barry Rassin, Chairman of Volunteer Bahamas. Also on hand for the event was State Minister for Grand Bahama and Finance, Kwesi Thompson.
I just found myself, as I sat this morning in the ceremony, almost with a flood of emotions. And looking to the side, to my left, and looking at all of the volunteers and what they represent to this island. And first I want to thank His Excellency for making the initial suggestion.
That does it for Our News tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night in 2021. Have a happy new year, Bahamas.